Welcome back to World Drum Club, everyone. I'm Kalani Das, your host and teacher here. I've been getting a lot of questions from some of our patrons and also some of our YouTube fans in the comment areas about practicing and developing your musical skills, your drumming skills, and more specifically, how do you develop your sense of rhythm and timing? How do you prepare to play with other people or play in a band? Those are all great questions. Those are all questions that we all have to find our own answers to in a way. But this video, this talk, is going to be about some of the things you can do to help better prepare yourself, develop as a drummer, musician, and a band member, if those are some of your goals. So if those are some of your goals, you're in the right spot. This will be a talk. I'll try to keep it brief, but here we go. So one of the questions was, how can I learn to play in different styles and develop my rhythm and timing and things like that? And I've talked about this in the past, but real quick, one of the best things you can do, and it's fun, is to play along with lots of music. Playing along with recorded music does several things at the same time. One, of course, it exposes you to lots of cool music, music that you may not be familiar with, and I'm going to give you a way to get some names of artists and bands that you can look into, and all of them are great, and all of them have multiple albums and videos that you can use to listen to and play along with. I'll give you that in a second. But when you do play along with music, I recommend that you do it without headphones. At least use some sort of open air, like earbuds that don't completely block your ears in, because what we don't want to do is shut out our own sound. If you're playing along, you want to be able to hear yourself, not just feel what you're doing, but hear it. So that's important. So if you have headphones that are over ear, or you have earbuds that are really in there and blocking out external sound, I would recommend either using one of those, take one off slightly, or switch to something like on-ear headphones that are a little more open. Same with the earbuds, or use a couple speakers if you can. If you're in a situation where you can have the music be acoustically present and a little bit, loud, so it matches the volume of your instrument, whether that's congas, bongos, djembe, or whatever you're playing, that's ideal, because that's going to be the situation that is most like when you go play with other people, right? Unless you're in a recording studio. But I'm assuming for this conversation, we want to just jam with other people in an acoustic setting. So you're not going to be wearing earphones or earbuds or anything in that situation. So get some nice speakers, put them out there, and play along with speakers. That's ideal. All right, so when you do that, of course, adjust the volume accordingly. Don't have the music too loud. You want to be able to hear it, but also hear yourself. So 50-50 balance, or whatever works for you in that way. So that's one thing. Get recordings that are clear, that where you can hear and maybe match a specific instrument that you're playing. So you might want to get, for example, if you're playing congas, you could get a Pancho Sanchez recording. I really like his recordings because the music is very typical. It's well recorded. It's just well executed. Everything is really high quality. Some of the field recordings are great, or the live recordings, but it's going to be harder to hear what's going on in the band. So get a studio recording if you can. If not, just get recordings that are clearly recorded so you can hear what's going on. If you want to match a certain instrumentalist in the group, you can also get recordings and then add your instrument to the recording, so you can play along with really any music and then add your own congas or cajon or bongos to that music. So either way is fine. Do both. You'll not only learn grooves, but you'll start to tune into form, different breaks, learn how to reduce your volume if there's a soloist, increase the intensity in certain sections. So playing along with music does more than just give you a chance to improve your timing and maybe your ability to play for a longer period of time and be consistent, which is also something you need to do for live playing. But it also helps your overall musicality, because, of course, when people play arrangements, they're not just mechanically playing a rhythm, the entire time straight through everything. There's dynamic changes. There might be rhythmic or metric changes. There's going to be breaks. There's going to be solos happening. And all of those things require sensitivity, and adjustments. So you're going to learn that part of playing with other people, and that's really important. Another thing that you can do is to increase your overall rhythm. And I just had a gentleman call me yesterday for a lesson, and he asked about how can I improve my rhythm. And I've done videos on that, but real quick, large, what we call gross motor movements, so arms, legs, body, move your body. I mean, dance, basically, is what I'm saying. You can go for a rhythm walk, put some music on, or just put a metronome, put a click, and have a little metronome in your pocket, or maybe it's on your phone or your watch at this point, and go for a rhythm walk. And that's a great way to entrain yourself to a beat, and then you can start to subdivide that beat in different ways. And again, I've done several videos on this, subdividing beats into different whether it's ternary divided into threes, or binary or duple meter dividing things into twos or fours. All of that is great, but you need to ground yourself, right, in a steady beat. And so walking or stepping, jogging, running, whatever you want to do, it's great exercise, right? And there have been studies that show that music actually motivates people to walk longer or run longer, exercise longer, up to 20, 30, 40% in some cases, than exercising without music. So there you go. Win-win. If you're a walker, runner, jogger, or whatever you're doing, do it to music. You'll do it longer, you'll get more workout in, and you'll develop your sense of rhythm and timing. So that's a win all the way around. Okay, the other thing you can do is to, of course, play with other drummers or musicians. Drummers or musicians, either one works. No, I'm kidding. What I mean by that is either, a percussionist, a drummer, or just any other instrumentalist, piano, guitar, whatever it is. Playing with other people will give you a reality check on where you stand with your ability to create and maintain steady rhythms, right? Whether that's just a simple beat or you're playing a groove, especially when you get into trading back and forth and maybe doing solos with a partner. And that's a great exercise. So let's say I have a drum, you have a drum. We're going to play together. We play in interlocking rhythms or whatever it is. But then I'm going to try to hold the beat down, play a pattern for you, and you get to solo, right? Now, that does two things. If for the soloist, it's a way to tune into the rhythm and stay with it even while you're improvising, right? Don't go completely out on your own so that you're not tethered or related or grounded to the fundamental rhythm. And then also, as the grounder or the person playing the rhythm, the steady rhythm, you're gonna experience when somebody's soloing, especially if they're not so experienced or if they're very experienced, they might do some things that are putting tension or pressure or stressing you. Let's call it a stressor. Something that's not really that easy to grasp how it aligns with the beat. It could be complex. It could be another kind of rhythm, like creating sort of a polyrhythmic relationship, like threes over twos or fours over threes. And while those are valid, they're mathematically correct, it's not always easy to maintain the beat while that's happening, right? And this relates to what we call fortitude. Your rhythmic fortitude is your capacity to maintain the structure while other things are happening. It's probably related to the word fort, right? A fort has to maintain while it's being attacked. And in a musical way, you can think of fortitude as you're creating a rhythmic structure, a groove, and not that the soloist is attacking it, but in a way they're providing some sort of alternative events that could be kind of like putting stress on that, right? I hope that makes sense. And it's not a bad thing. It's just when we play with other people, that's the kind of relationships, those are the things that happen. So I'm looking at it as an exercise or a way to check yourself. How much fortitude do you have What is your capacity to maintain even a simple beat, even if it's just boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, bop, boom, and somebody's going, you know, they're doing all kinds of stuff over it. How does that affect you? Does it affect you, and to what degree? So that's information for you to gather through this kind of experiment of jamming with other people. So if you can play with another person or a group, you're going to learn some things about yourself. And that's what we really need to do. And I'll end with this idea. You need to have an objective view of where you are as a musician in order to create a plan for developing. So you need to kind of find your weak spots. And the way to do that is to A, play with other people who are going to give you good, constructive, honest feedback. 2, record yourself. And I've talked about this before as well. Set up a video or something. Maybe you have some background music and play to it and then watch it, because it's kind of hard to tell what you're doing in the moment. And of course, if you're not playing with the beat so much, right, in the moment, you're not going to be able to really be aware of that. If you were aware of it, you wouldn't do it in the first place, right? So by recording it, you can take yourself out of the role of player, right, and put yourself in the role of audience member and get that objective view, even if it's just an audio recording, right? There's nothing like recording yourself to provide you with a nice reality check. And you might be surprised. And between the difference, you might be surprised of the difference between what you thought you were doing and what you now experience yourself having done. So those are some great ways that you can develop. This is work. You know, if you want to develop as a musician, it takes work. It's like any other profession or skill. And I hope this is encouraging to you and not discouraging, but I want to reiterate that, you know, musicians just don't show up and magically have all these skills, and it might seem like that, but behind every professional musician or any musician that you see performing, behind that person, behind that moment, are hundreds of hours of listening, of practicing, of playing, of absorbing music, of, you know, and for some of us, and I've had to work hard. Playing drums I wouldn't say it came easy. Parts of it come easy, maybe the hitting part, but the musicality part, playing in time, playing different rhythms. I mean, I don't consider myself, you know, at the top of the percussion spectrum or the far end of talent. I'm one of those people that just have had to grind it out and work and practice to get to even where I am. And I think I have good functional skills. I can get the job done. You know, I'm at the professional level. But still, there, of course, are people that are way beyond where I am. There's also people that are coming up to where I am. But all of that takes work. It takes practice, and that's great. It's exciting, just like any profession, whether you're an athlete or you're in, you know, engineering or whatever you do, anything you do. Takes hundreds of hours. So to be effective, though, in practice, you need to get a good idea of what you need to do. So that means assessing yourself through some of the ways that I've talked about. So let's review real quick. Play with music. Use a acoustic situation for listening if you can. So speakers or open air headphones or earbuds. Use a mirror or recording device to get an objective picture of where you're at. Play with other people and take on different roles, either soloist or somebody that's holding down the rhythm. We'll just call that a ground or the groove person. And, you know, talk about it, maybe discuss what was working, what was not working. You should have an idea. You should have an idea in the moment of what's working, what's not working. But it's good maybe to debrief. You know, get together with the idea that that's what you're going to do. That's why you're getting together, you know, to learn and to grow and to practice and get some good objective feedback from people. And then play with a lot of music. Just play with different music. Play with different instruments, but do it in a way that where you are playing within your comfort zone, and then just slowly push to the next level. And this relates to what we call flow state, right? So it's a good thing. If it's too easy, you might get bored. If it's too hard, you might get stressed out. But you want to be kind of pushing that level right in there where you're trying something new, but you come back to things that you can do. And then you try something new and kind of come back to what you're comfortable doing, and just stay in that area where you're pushing a little bit into unknown territory, trying new things, because that's the growth area in there. That's the growth band, right? You don't want to always do things that are super easy. Although it's a great idea to also go back to basics and practice your basics and just really nail them, tones, techniques, basic rhythms. So in your practice routine, do all of that or as much of that as you can. Let us know how it works out. If you have anything to add that's kind and helpful, you can leave it in the comments. If you'd like to get in touch with me more directly, you know how to do that, right? I've said it a zillion times, so I'll say it again. Visit us at patreon.com/Kalani and become a member of World Drum Club, and then we can have a more in-depth conversation about how to help you develop as a musician, whether that's drums or something else. All right, I'm Kalani Das. This is World Drum Club. I want to thank you for watching. Of course, like and subscribe and hit the bell and do all that stuff. See us over at patreon.com/Kalani for more. I'll see you all in another lesson.